week's episode of Waypoint, guild sellers get hit with the ban hammer, server transfers will be free for a little while, and the devs answer gamer questions on the forums. What's up, guys, and welcome to Waypoint, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV recap for October 4th, 2013. I'm your host, Kat Andresco. This past weekend, we saw a flurry of activity on the Final Fantasy XIV Reddit page regarding 72-hour bans on many accounts. While the bans came out of nowhere and with very little warning, they also came with an email in many cases that informed players that their accounts had been temporarily suspended while Square Enix investigates. What were they investigating, you ask? Gil selling, of course. With the prevalence of Gil selling shouts and weird gathering teleporting bots seen in-game lately, it really comes as no surprise that Square Enix has started to take action to prevent this type of violation to their terms of service. What did come as a surprise was the sheer number of innocent gamers that were hit with bans. Yeah, I know, not everyone on the internet is as innocent as they say they are, but it seems like there have been some high-end crafters that got caught in this whole fiasco. On the good side of this investigation, though, Square Enix did release some official numbers and is reporting that over 6,000 accounts connected to Gil selling and in-game advertising have been banned. It seems to be helping too, as we've received pictures from gamers of Gil selling websites having to admit that they were banned. Hopefully, my in-game blacklist just got a little shorter. Now, if a right-click report option could just be implemented, we'd be headed in a great direction. Okay guys, there's news on a topic that you've been asking about since launch. We've talked about transfers before, and yeah, they're coming. But while we still don't have an exact date, Yoshi P did confirm in a forum post this week that not only would transfers be available sometime in the first half of October, but more importantly, he announced that server transfers would be free for the first 5 days once they're available. However, remember that if you have a lot of Gil, you may want to reconsider transferring, as there may be a cap on the Gil you can take with you to stop Gil sellers from transferring Gil in bulk. Now, with only 5 days of free transfers, you certainly don't want to miss out, so be sure to keep it locked on xivnation.com to see the moment that transfers go live. How much will transfers cost after the 5 days? That question is still waiting for an answer, so we'll be sure to follow up on the website as more details are released. Okay, side note here. If you queue up on the Duty Finder as DPS, wait for 40 minutes to actually get a group, get into the instance, and then AFK on your party, you're not cute. You're an asshole. Thankfully, Square Enix devs spoke about this exact scenario on the forums this week. Sometime soon, 14 will be receiving an AFK kicking option. While the dev team has said that this type of feature isn't very hard to implement, they want to be sure it's implemented in a way that's fair and doesn't cause the system to be abused. Seriously though, the vote to kick feature needs to be added. Fast! Today we spent a lot of time on the news since there was so much of it, but I did still want to help you out with a weekly XIV tip. Since subscriptions are coming due right around now for most players, this week I'll keep it short and answer a question we see quite a lot in the United States. Usually, the question comes in 2 different forms. The first form is, can I get official game time cards in the US? And the second version is, if not, can I buy another region's cards, say from Europe maybe, and use them? To save you time, as of this recording, the answer to both is no. Officially, no retailers have started to sell NA region game time cards from Square Enix. And the issue with using cards from other regions isn't to say that the cards themselves don't work, it's just that our MOG Station accounts in the US don't have the required section to actually enter the codes. Yeah, I know it sucks, and hopefully official cards will be released soon, but until then, if you're looking for another way to avoid using your credit or debit card, you could go the route of buying an Ultimate Game card and then using that card on your MOG Station account to buy Krista. Next up, we're going to be checking out a little bit of the XIV Nation forum art, but first, I want to thank Netflix for sponsoring this episode of Waypoint. For a free 30-day trial, just head on over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. You can start watching Netflix today on your PC, Xbox, PS3, iPad, and more. There is no commitment, and you can cancel at any time. Sign up today by using netflix.com/GameBreakerTV and start streaming thousands of movies and television shows right to your television or mobile device. Okay, last up here on Waypoint, we again want to take some time to showcase your greatest work. Drawings, videos, or tattoos, if it's Final Fantasy XIV related, I want to see it. Throw it up on the XIV Nation forums in our art spots and we'll find it. Take a look at this crafty lady, submitted by her husband who goes by the XIV Nation forum handle, Lifestream Gaming. We get to take a peek at the oh-so-fantastic Cactaur and Carbuncle. Not content with a drawing or photo, this queen of the craft literally made her own stuffed animals from scratch. Can you top that? I'm still waiting for my Mikote music video challenge I laid down last week to be tackled. That does it for this week's episode of Waypoint. Be sure to check back every week for updated Final Fantasy XIV news. I'm Kat Andresco, and you can follow me on Twitter @KatAndresco. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next Waypoint.
Game Breaker TV.